गुड इवनिंग एंड वेलकम टू गना शॉट। गना शॉट में आप सबका स्वागत है। Today we're going to tackle three subjects. We're going to settle some Chinese doubts on SpaceX. We're going to see how India has tightened its grip on the Indian Ocean region. And we're going to talk of the water crisis in Pakistan. Three different things, not the normal Balochistan, Ukraine. थोड़ा हटके है. But I thought in our context, it's going to be very important. Okay. A lot of things are happening, a lot of things are happening. It's the small things which miss our attention. And, but let me also tell you something else. A lot of people have commented on my videos and said, look, your analysis is fantastic. We don't understand why subscription is low and views are low. Well, like many people have said that, but equally, a few people have said, look, this is too good for there's no masala in this, and hence your viewership is low. Well, that's how it is. If you don't have masala, naturally people won't like to eat anything or see anything, and I can't manufacture masala at this age. And these subjects are too serious for masala. You have to understand that. I'm happy with the discerning audience who come. I don't mind a lot of people giving contrary ideas and ideas which are completely antithetical to my ideas. I have no issues with it. We're in democracy. I'm also amused at the fact that some Chinese and communists and Pakistanis come and vent their feelings. First class, no problems. Okay, so let's get on to subject proper. First, I'm going to talk to you about India tightening its grip on the Indian Ocean region. Why did I take this? I took it because of this. A prime minister recently went to Mauritius. There he is being received by Mr. Naveen Ramgoolam, who is the prime minister of Mauritius. He was feted, 2 days he stayed there, all that. If you go into the history of India-Mauritius relationship, we always had a great relationship. And incidentally, Mr. Naveen Ramgoolam was against India-Mauritius relationship getting too close when he was earlier. But when he became prime minister, just before he became prime minister, he fell sick. And he was flown out to India, and India took care of him. And I think from then he's changed. India takes care of a lot of people, right? And that's why you see a change. So a lot of good things have happened. But what's so special about Mauritius? And what's happened in this thing? And how does it affect the Indian Ocean? Very important questions, and that's what we're going to ask and answer. So key takeaways, standard importance of Mauritius in the Indian Ocean region and India's strategy there. It will lead way to key agreements and cooperation in various fields. There are about 20 India-funded projects which were inaugurated, and it shows India's commitment to development of Mauritius. PM attended their National Day celebrations, held bilateral talks, agreements signed, cultural engagements, inaugurations, all that, the works. Okay. And he reinforced the security partnership, India-Mauritius security partnership. What does this security partnership encompass? Maritime security, defense cooperation, strategic partnership, infrastructure development, and regional collaboration. And mind you, Mauritius is going to hold the Indian Ocean Rim Association and the Colombo Security Conclave shortly. So all these things are there. And we're talking of enhanced strategic partnership, focusing on mutual security and X, Y, Z, A. But we need to understand it in detail. And we need to understand where Mauritius is, where Indian Ocean is, and all that. So, next 10 minutes, I'll put that across. Okay, this is the Indian Ocean region. So, have a look at it close. You don't need to see my face. This is what it is, right? And where is Mauritius in this? Mauritius is here. See where India is and the rest of the things, right? And it sits in a very important part of the Indian Ocean. Okay, and what's so special about the Indian Ocean? One has to understand that also. It's the Indian Ocean, the rim of the Indian Ocean, and so many major populations are there. All these people depend on the Indian Ocean, and then you have a whole lot of economies. The top 8 to the top 20 economies depend on the Indian Ocean, right? Major conflict zones are served through the Indian Ocean. And conflicts come because of those economies, on those populations, and the Indian Ocean is a common feature, right? We all know all these. Some of the top defense spenders are in this area. You see, Middle East, Iran, Pakistan, India, Singapore, Indonesia. All these are top defense spenders. Okay. And then you look at disasters. The major disasters in this area, in the world happen around this area and around Indian Ocean, and India is central to it. So India is central to this whole story, and anything happening in Indonesia Indian Ocean is important to us. And of course, Indian Ocean is a constricted ocean. You can't get in and out easily. Those are choke points. We all know that. Strait of Hormuz, Bab el Mandeb. That's where the Houthis are. That's where Trump is, let loose the USAF on them. Madagascar Straits. Then, of course, the Malacca Strait and the Lombok and the other Mindanao Straits and all that. It's a constricted ocean. You can't run away from here easily. Okay, let's look at certain issues which affect us. You have all these things which India needs to have to control the Indian Ocean. You need to have control over the Lakshadweep, Maldives, Diego Garcia, Seychelles, Mauritius, and the Reunion. I see some question about Diego Garcia. We'll come to it, don't worry. Okay. But we need to understand that Indian Ocean is it's the only ocean named after a country. There's no other ocean which is named after a country. Okay. It is vital to the world trade, as I said, and 50% of global oil consumption goes through IOR. 75% of the world's maritime trade goes through IOR. 33 nations and 2 billion people, I showed that to you earlier, live around on the rims. But if you count the others, maybe half of humanity survives on the Indian Ocean. That's the importance. And it accounts 80% of China's energy imports. And the BRI goes through the Indian Ocean majorly. So it's a very strategic ocean. And that's where India is tightening its grip. These are the trade routes. If you look at it as a quadrilateral, you see that place called Diego Garcia is sitting in the center. I'll come to Diego Garcia today, later. What is India's interest in this whole place? Very simple. The 4 corners of the ocean should be under control. Very clearly, our strategic thing is from the Gulf of Aden to the Malacca Strait is our national interest, and we have an overlapping interest in the southern Indian Ocean also. Right, going down to the Madagascar island, and on the side, almost up to the southern islands of Indonesia, and almost up to the Australian coast. And like I said, those islands which I showed earlier, you need to get hold of them. We'll talk of them. Okay. What about China? China wants to be a superpower. Okay. and it desires to be a superpower with a two ocean axis. Any superpower in history has always had two oceans axis. At this point of time, China is not there. Whether it's USA, Britain, Russia, they always had, you know, two oceans, the eastern and the western seaboards. It's China which doesn't have. And China wants to manufacture a second axis through its interests. Which are these interests, right? And what does it want to do? It wants full control over the South China Sea in its struggling there. It wants a successful BRI and CPEC. It wants entry into the Indian Ocean and ensure that India is contained by the pearl of strings or the string of pearls, right? With its considerable presence, it wants facilities where I put the stars: Gwadar, Hambantota, Maldives, Kyakfu. It wants to overcome the Malacca dilemma. Like I've said, it wants major bases there. The day it has all these bases there, it's a superpower. Now, what does a base involve? I mean, people understand it. Basing is ports are different things. Basing means you have ability to station warships out there. You have the ability to maintain them. You have ammunition. You have refueling, all facilities. That's a base. Pani, everything. A port is somewhere you just go, revictualize, take your logistics and get out. There's a difference. You can do training in your base. You can do intelligence gathering from your base. Okay. A base is far different from normal. Right. Now let's look at the Chinese investments, because unless you understand the Chinese investment and their interests, we will also not appreciate how important this visit was and how we are tightening the grip. Okay. Just think, 17 ports in the IOR have some degree of Chinese involvement. They could be, deep water ports and terminals like Gwadar or Lamu, and small ones like at Port Sudan, which has only for livestock, sheep, something like that. Okay. It's involved in construction of 13 of these ports out of the 17. And they have financial involvement. Chinese financial companies have involvement in 8 projects in the form of debt or equity. Either they finance the projects or they're partners of this whole story. Right? Many countries in the IOR in which China is constructing ports are indebted to China. So they're compromised. These are Kenya, Pakistan, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Djibouti. They are in considerable debt of China. So China will extract this. So, and this is something we have to live with, because these countries can't repay back. Okay. And Djibouti, they already have a base. Gwadar, they are trying to establish a base about which I have spoken. When all this happens, especially if Djibouti and Gwadar come as a base, they get half an access into the Indian Ocean. And then they can do a lot of things. Okay, what do we do? Have a look at this again. This is the Indian Ocean region. Okay, now I'll expand this. I'll get out of my thing. This is the Indian Ocean region. The Indian Ocean has 3 ridgelines or archipelagos, the ones which I've put in yellow, right? This is the Andaman Nicobar archipelago. This is the Chagos archipelago from Diego Garcia to Lakshadweep. Okay, and this is the Seychelles Mauritius Reunion archipelago. Now, apart from the mainland of the Indian Ocean, whoever controls these archipelagos controls the Indian Ocean. That's the beauty. As of now, we control the complete Andaman Nicobar archipelago. You control the Lakshadweep archipelago. Diego Garcia is with USA. Maldives, you have put in the center. And I'll explain to you what we are doing about the Maldives. Okay. In this place, Seychelles, Mauritius, and Reunion, you have good relations. And with Mauritius, if you have good relations, you control this Indian Ocean region. And that is why a Prime Minister's visit to Mauritius was very important. It's just not Nautanki. Okay. That's why I didn't waste time on the initial thing. Now let's look at this. Look at the bottom. There's this place called Agalega, part of Mauritius. This called Diego Garcia, again part of Mauritius. Both these are strategically important. I'll talk of it. Okay. Now, this is the Chagos Archipelago. Actually, this divides the Indian Ocean into two, the Western Indian Ocean and the Eastern Indian Ocean. You want to control this ocean in two parts. It forces that separation. So, there's one triangle you can control from the mainland India to Diego Garcia to Andaman Nicobar Islands. And you have another on the east. You want to control the Eastern Indian Ocean region. You control it with the mainland, Diego Garcia, and Agalega. And also Dukum. Dukum is a port in Oman, which we are using. So this won't be a triangle really. This really will be a quadrilateral. Okay. But I've not put it because that whole thing is not finished as it. But Agalega is something which we have some rights on it. Or rather, we have some. That's why Mauritius comes in. Okay, now what is China up to? China wants Chakfu, Hambantota, Djibouti, and Gwadar. They already have Gwadar and Djibouti. Now, the moment they get that base, they get operate this triangle, which will cut across our triangles. When that happens, we are in, I wouldn't say trouble, it will be mukamuki. I need to stop them doing that and dominate our triangles or quadrilaterals. That's the game in the Indian Ocean. That's where Mauritius comes in. Okay. Now, where is Agalega? Agalega is here. Okay. And Mauritius is further south, like I showed you earlier. Now, this is Agalega if you take a closer look. And Agalega has an airstrip, which we've been operating. Indian Navy has been operating there incidentally. So you already have a base in some form, right? And then the next thing is this Chagos Archipelago. This is Diego Garcia, which is shown here, and this is the Chagos Archipelago. Okay. Now, what happened is that there are 7 atolls in Chagos Archipelago, and about 60 islands in these atolls, and they are about 500 kilometers from the Maldives archipelago. The southern point of Maldives, another 500 kilometers is Diego Garcia. But they are all part of the larger Chagos archipelago. Okay. Now this is Diego Garcia. Okay. And you can see this is the main runway in Diego Garcia where the US base is at this point of time. There's another snapshot of Diego Garcia, the longer view. Now, the Diego Garcia was under control of UK. I'll not go into the history. Recently, UK has agreed to give it to Mauritius. But Diego Garcia, which is part of the Chagos Archipelago and the Chagos Islands, right, will remain with UK for another 99 years. Whatever. Okay. Britain continues to administer it in some form, but US continues to be there. This whole arrangement guarantee has been done by India. India has a guarantee for this entire sovereignty swap and all that. And we want USA to stay in Diego Garcia. Why should it vacate? Because if it gets vacated and China makes an entry, it will be a problem. And sooner or later, right, we would like to take over the base depending on how the India-US relations go. And the Chagos Archipelago, there is a plan or rather this thing that we will take over those slowly. We'll have excise control. So Mauritius is important for us. And in this whole construct, it is India's good offices with Mauritius which will allow US to continue with the Diego Garcia. UK has lost its legal thing because after, this whole story has come after legal battle. Of course, I'm not going into the details of who will occupy what, all that, but that's how it is. Now, besides this, Maldives. We all know Maldives wasn't a problem, but then we have boosted aid to Maldives, and Maldives is now virtually compromised. But then the Chinese are sending their tourists to Maldives in droves, and then saying, "Look, we are giving you livelihood. Be kind to us." That's their way of looking at it. So there's a tussle on Maldives, but Maldives has been told you can entertain Chinese, do what you want, but no warships, no nothing, all that. And Maldives has stuck to that. Even Sri Lanka has said, we will do nothing which is against India's security. And that their prime minister has said, their president has said in the parliament. So if you see, let me go back to the original map. Yeah. If you see, we have tied up Sri Lanka, we have tied up Maldives. Diego Garcia is also, the deal is done. Agaliga, we are maintaining something there. Dukum, we have. Seychelles, we have good relations. So our grip is tight. And Prime Minister has gone there and tightened it further. Okay? And this is very important from another point of view. A lot of people talk of the fact that, look, India-US relations are, might fray, and Trump might not look well towards India and all that. Well, if US wants to continue in Diego Garcia, it needs India's help. Otherwise, there are problems. These issues will come up somewhere or the other. And these are not things which are, for the duration of the president's term and all. These are long-term issues. I've been hearing about Diego Garcia, Mauritius, from my time when I was a second lieutenant. Okay. So, we have tightened, but at the same time, we have challenges. We have challenges that China will try and make its inroads constantly. Please understand and remember, China recently went around Australia. If you remember, it fired in the Tasman Sea and went around Australia, right? And it showed its intent that, look, we're going to do Farsi exercises. And that they made a big, show off. Okay? So we have to be cognizant of that fact. Okay? So that's how we have to look at all this. And there's no getting away from the fact that we're going to have a tough fight, but also there's no getting away from the fact that we have a grip. We hold the islands in the Indian Ocean region. China doesn't have a leg to stand on. And that's what makes India strong. Okay. I'll talk about Pakistan's water crisis. Recent times, what all we have heard about Pakistan? Economy bad. Balochistan, we know what's happened in Balochistan. I discussed it yesterday, day before. Train incident. Today also at Noshki, there's been an ambush. 13, 14 of the Pakistan soldiers have died. More casualties are expected. They don't have an answer. There's a problem with TTP. Their politics are in disarray. But what we don't understand is this, their water crisis. And this photograph which I've used as the thumbnail is straight lift from Pakistan's Gazette. It's called a Pakistan Gazette, which came out with this a special feature. I lifted it from there. Just see Pakistan's water crisis. Okay, it says a nation running dry. Very, very significant. Very, you need to understand the fact that Pakistan's biggest threat is water. It is not Baluchistan. It is not anything else. And this is what I have said always. Water is the werewolf which is going to eat up Pakistan. It will eat it up. And Pakistan has no place to go. Okay. Look at the water availability versus population, the graph. The orange line, this line is the availability of water per capita, per head. This blue line is the population. Okay. This gray line is the water stress line. That is at the time when the country is under water stress. When did that happen? Somewhere around 88, 89, it became a water stressed nation. What is a water stressed nation? A nation which, has about 1800 liters per individual per day. Okay. If you have only that much, I mean, it's not that one man will have 1800 liters will use, but it is for power, for agriculture and everything, because most of us don't use more than 200 liters per day normally. That also is hell of a lot. Okay. Yeah. After all, you'll have a bath, two buckets, 3 buckets of water. It's 20. Each bucket is 20 liters. 40 liters in the morning, 40 liters in the evening, 2 buckets of water also if you have. And for other things, another bucket or two. You will have 100 liters. But if you are incidentally, a shower, you use lesser water. And maximum about 200 liters. If you have a garden and all that, 200 liters per day. That's it. Average. But 1800 is overall. That level was breached long back. Somewhere around 2008-10, it became a water scarce nation. That is this yellow line, which is here. Okay, this yellow line. Water scarce nation. That is 1000 liters per day. If per capita 1000 liters per day, then you are in a water scarce situation. But now it has entered this, where the availability of water is just about 500 liters per day, per head. That is an absolute water scarcity situation in Pakistan, and that is not reversible. See, in China, there's a population declining. That's not reversible. In Pakistan, because of the increase in population, which is going to go up to 250, 300, the same amount of water, in fact, lesser water, and that cannot be reversed. Pakistan can do anything, it cannot be reversed. That's the curse with it has to live, and no one is bothered about it. So, in this gazette, he says, what are the causes of Pakistan water crisis? Population growth and urbanization. The more you urbanize, the more water you need. And Pakistan's major cities like Karachi, Lahore, they don't have water. Deforestation and mismanagement is rampant in Pakistan. And these points are from that Pakistan Gazette. They know. They don't have a plan. And all their plans are fake. Climate change and glacial melt, they're going to be affected. They got about 7,000 glaciers in the Himalayas. They're shrinking. And then, of course, there's this massive inefficient water usage in agriculture. which has been pointed out twice by the World Bank to them in two reports. They're fantastic reports. They exactly pinpoint where Pakistan has to look, but Pakistan never looks. Because Pakistan फौज तो कुछ और ही करती है. And then they have lack of water storage infrastructure. I'll touch upon it. What water they have is more than enough in Indus, but they don't know how to use it. That's the point. And why water storage is not there. What are the problems they're going to have? And they're going to have, it's not going to have, they're having food insecurity, agriculture. 20% of their GDP is agriculture, and 40% of people live on that agriculture. And that is gone. Then, of course, drinking water shortages and health. It's established that 80% of Pakistan's population has unsafe drinking water. Polio, cholera, diarrhea, hepatitis, all these are rampant. So they have to not only go without water, they have to spend on medicines and health. Paisa nahi hai. And that army is funkoing money somewhere else. Then, of course, there's going to be economic and social instability, which has actually started. This is why I'm not here now to talk to you about all this, but you can come to a very interesting thing. You've not heard of this, but this is it. Green Pakistan Initiative. What is this Green Pakistan Initiative all about? You heard of SIFC? Special Investment Facilitation Council, put by Asim Munir. Part of this is Green Pakistan Initiative. What is the aim? Modernize, mechanize, maximize agriculture. Make it green. Increase productivity, all that. And this is the crux of the problem today. Okay. In that SIFC, Asim Munir has put all army officers. That's a Fauji establishment. Okay. Now he's militarized the economy also. So what did this militarized economists do? They started this Green Pakistan Initiative. What do they want to do? They want to introduce corporate agriculture based on modern agricultural technology to increase production, which I told you. Now, what is that? I mean, fundamentally, for agriculture, you need water, isn't it? So, what they have done, they are putting 6 canals in the Cholistan desert, new canals from Indus. Okay? And that land which is astride these canals, they have given it for corporates, they've sold it off. And these corporates are who? Owned by Faujis in some manner. So, in some form, they have enabled corporates. They got corporates, they got people from outside, AO. So, a corporate is given, say, 100 acres of land, 50 acres of land goes to Fauj, 50 acres of land goes to that corporate. The corporate will pay for the entire 100 acres. That's the deal, which is happening in Pakistan. And to ensure that that land, it's all desert land, no, there's no water there. So they're putting 6 canals. Now, the moment they put 6 canals, water down in Sindh is not there. And this is at a time now when there's already a 35% water shortage for the existing Rabi crops. This wheat will get harvested now. The Holi has just finished, no, April, May. This is the harvest time. They'll need the last watering they'll have to do sometime now. Or they would have done, I don't know, I mean, I'm not to this thing. But there's no water there. The moment that stops, they have to start putting paddy. For that day. Now, they got 2 major dams called Tarbela and Mangla. Now, what has happened in Tarbela and Mangla is that over years, it has been silted. Silting has happened. The level in the water has such that there's dead water levels have reached. That means there is water in the dam, but that water can't be taken out for canals. So both these dams are useless. A dam is useful only in summer, no? It's not even summer and they've reached dead water levels. And this has been happening for the past 2-3 years. So it's only now run of the water kind of a system. What is run of the water? जो पानी पीछे से आएगा वही आगे करो. That's not enough. Come summer, the water requirement will go up and the water flow will reduce, and you don't have capacity to store it. You don't have capacity to store it, and you're starting 6 new canal projects, and you sold the land off. Army. That is the scarcity. That is why today in Pakistan, you forget about Balochistan, the other problems are there. Okay? And there's growing water shortage. Summer and winter crops both are going to have a problem. And this is going to be the new normal hereafter. I told you, that graph in the beginning. So it's in a bad shape. This is this project where the Chief Minister of Punjab and Asim Munir went and inaugurated the whole thing. Okay, in Cholistan area. This is, and mind you, this is from Al Jazeera. Okay, Pakistan News says resolution against the 6 canal project on Indus River sails through Sindh Assembly. The Sindh Assembly and the Sindh State province is now going politically against this. Thank you. We don't want it. Because complete Sindh will go dry if this goes through. And this Fauj will make sure it happens because they've taken money. They are giving some fake news that this will be surplus water, real water, and it won't be there for everyone. But we know how it is in Pakistan. And there's a political crisis in Sindh and the Cholistan project. And there's from the Daily News, Daily Friday News, with that, I'm forgetting that fellow who owns it, Nayadaur guy. So there's a major problem coming up. Just think. Here is this case where there's water shortage in Sindh. It's going to affect people in Sindh. There's a problem in Balochistan. And if Balochistan problem gets conflicted with the Sindh water problem, what will happen to Pakistan? Okay. And if you see overall also, Pakistan as a state, what is happening in the state? I mean, just think. Look at the Champions Trophy which happened. It was supposed to be Pakistan's showcase trophy, a major competition being held in Pakistan after such a long time. There was not a single guy from Pakistan on stage in Pakistan, in Dubai, in the final. See, when the thing was held in India, even if Australia won, it was held in India. Our people went and gave the trophy away. Oh, once I remember when the Champions Trophy earlier, Sharad Pawar ji went and gave the thing to Ricky Ponting, and Ricky Ponting told him to go. We have won, we'll leave it to us. All that. अभी तो ये वो भी नहीं है. You see the mess Pakistan is in, their coordination. They got this trophy after such a long time. They, one place it rained, they had to cancel. Wherever it rained, they had to cancel matches. There's no preparation. Grounds are poor. Then, in some place where I think Australia match was there, instead of Australia national anthem, they played Indian national anthem. I wish, for Pakistan, whenever Pakistan team was playing, Indian national anthem should have played. That will be very good. Okay. And then just think, you holding a Champions Trophy and you come last in the tournament. In your pool, you're the worst. So, all this you put together, you see it's a weak nation. The nation is becoming weaker by the day. And weak nations fragment. That's the natural thing. Weak nations can't stand up to their own problems. And water crisis is huge. Whether Balochistan exists or not, I couldn't care a damn. Whether Khyber Pakhtunkhwa exists as part of Pakistan or not is okay or not. I don't know. Whether what happens in Kashmir is also irrelevant. But पानी नहीं होगा तो पाकिस्तान टूटेगा और पानी नहीं होने वाला है. You watch the fun. Why are people running away from Pakistan? Right? And now, of course, there's a US travel ban on Pakistan. It has come out in black and white. Okay, this is the New York Times thing. So, where is this nation going? That is why I brought this in today. We have to understand that there are going to be major problems in Pakistan as we go along. And this security, it's not only a security problem. There's going to be political problems. There are going to be economic problems. There are going to be societal problems. After all, any problem like Balochistan is going to breed its own societal problems. Problems of water will lead to political problems and societal problems. Their internal politics between PTI, PMLN, and the army will generate its own problems. Then there's a problem with TTP, PTM, and the rest, PTI. The government there is PTI in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. That's a different story. Their debt, they can't repay anyone. They're constantly with a begging bowl. So, where does that leave India? We have to understand this problem in a different dimension altogether. And yet they want to go and topple the Bangladesh government and do a coup out there and all that nonsense. So there's seriously something wrong with Pakistan, which we'll have to put up with, or rather look out for. Day after tomorrow, not tomorrow, day after tomorrow, I'm going to do another event, another discussion with General Dushan Singh on Balochistan. As Balochistan is on the brink, Pakistan is looking at the wrong direction. It's looking towards India. So we'll discuss more of Balochistan day after tomorrow. So those of you who ask questions on Balochistan, I'll not take them today. We'll take other questions, right? So I just thought I'll put all this across to all of you. Now, the third part of the story today. What is this? Settling Chinese doubts on India's space docking. Why? 2 days back, or 3 days back, it may be. We carried out the space docking some time back, or we launched a, vehicle up a PSLV, and then with 2 satellites were launched from that, 2 small satellites. We docked them, and then for a long time they remained docked. 3 days back we did the undocking. It means very little, isn't it? क्या है यार, 2 बेच दिया आपने, डॉक कर दिया ये. But this is a very, very great achievement. A tremendous achievement. Why? First and the foremost, this is a capability which not many nations have. Only 4 nations have this capability. USA, Russia, China, India. Period. Docking is the first step for us to put a manned station up there. Like the manned station, the Sunitya Williams has come back. What is the problem? Because the one which went to dock, they went up in a spaceship. The spaceship docked into the mothership, into the space station. And these astronauts went there inside, stayed there, and she was there for 9 months. And now the Starliner went, docked with the ISS, brought these people back. So the docking and undocking, you can dock and then undock to come back, is important. The technology is important. No one will give you. We've done that. Second, when we did this docking, we couldn't do this docking. The 2 satellites which were launched came together. There's some glitch. They stayed together for a long time. They were separated by design. And then analysis of the fault was done. Overcome all remotely. and then brought together and docked. And now undocking has taken place. So what does it mean? You have co-orbital capability. You have the capability, if some satellite is going, you can place a satellite next to it. What does this capability give you? It gives you the capability of either interfering with that other satellite or repairing that satellite or maintaining that satellite or augmenting that satellite. This is a tremendous capability. Or if that satellite is a junk, you can take that satellite and put it in the graveyard zone. Like I said, we have only 4 nations have this capability. So why am I talking of all this? Now I'll tell you the story. Okay? And by the end of this next 10 minutes, I'm sure the Chinese will understand what I'm talking, especially the Chinese. Last year, end of the year, on 31st, this JSLV was launched with 2 satellites, which I shown here, these 2 ones. Okay? And this was shown, if you remember, this was the thing which was shown as docking, which took place. And a lot of people had objections to it. Oh, this is only a video. This is not an actual docking. India is faking. All this nonsense came out from, the Chinese people. And why did it come out? I must tell you this. Right, this is one of the things. This is from China. He says, where is the video of what Indian calls space docking? Only computer generated video. Why did this come about, this whole story? Its story came about because in Guangzhou, this entire space docking came out and it was discussed that look here is India which can do it. And I still remember a few people commented that don't discount India. Very few countries can do it. The ability to do this is huge. But there were people in China who said, oh, this is nonsense, because same, the video is not shown, all this. So when I gave that 3 months back, somewhere in the first week of January, all these comments came. When I explained, where is the video? Just another ISRO fakes. It can fool Indian, but not the world. The world means China, basically. Okay? And then the next chap, he says, I'm not China. I'm not a Chinese. The video you showed is not a real video. It is graphic video created by computer. Right? All that. Then the next chap, Pek Jin Noi, jo bhi hai, he says, if it is really docking, show us the video, not showing the AI generated video. Then he says, India cannot even build a rifle. Talk nonsense about space program. India is bragging and doing nothing. All this nonsense has come. Okay. There is zero international media about Indian satellites docking. Enough said. And then someone said, don't brag until you are able to build your own space station. Many people know to talk, but without much substance. Manage your government incompetency and correct general public mindset. All this. You know how the Chinese are? The buffoons. The very short buffoons. 4 foot nothing. Pigtailed characters. Okay. They think they are the end of the world. But let me prove everything. Third party proving. S2A Systems is an independent body in Switzerland who tracks satellites. Everything. So they've been tracking our SpaceX. So on 14 January, you can see 2 separately shown. I'll make it a little bigger because you'll need to see it bigger. Yeah. 2 separately shown, 14 January. That was when the docking didn't take place. And then, then showed on 15 January, when the first docking was attempted, they said they're together, the distance between the 2 spacecraft or the 2 modules was just 900 meters, 1 kilometer. And it had actually gone down to 300 meters. 300 meters in space, you're able to control it. Some capability. And this was confirmed by S2A systems. You can go on the net and see where S2A systems is. On 16th January, next day, they congratulated us by saying that docking is done. For some reason, ISRO didn't put the video out. There must be good reason. They mentioned it, but they didn't put the video out. Right? There's a thing from Canberra, Australian handle in Twitter. They congratulated for the successful docking. Okay. And then this continued. By 21st January, this S2A kept tracking. They remained docked. Okay. And then, of course, there's one called ISRO Spaceflight Handle. They also came out with it. But importantly, in this tweet, what they said was that, look, ISRO has taken a conscious decision not to do undocking because they're doing some studies. And once the studies are completed, then they'll do the undocking. It was known. And people forgot about it. Okay. I didn't forget. Now, finally, on 13th March, 3 days back, ISRO put it out. It says SpaceX undocking captured, but from both SDX1 and SDX2. Right? It says watch the spectacular views of the successful separation in orbit. ISRO has publicly said we've done it. Okay. This, of course, is the animated version of the whole story. I'll put it. This is what happened. The animated version, people will say, oh, ye bhi animated hi hai and all that, So they must say. But you must understand what happened. That's why I put this out. Okay. So this is the animated version. This is the real version. And there are two clips, one on the left and one on the right. And I'll put both on so that we save time. It's a right. You keep watching, you'll see both happening. Yeah. You'll see slowly the movement takes place. It's over a minute. Okay. So you have to be patient. So you can see the left one, things have started moving. This is from two different cameras. And I'm proud of the fact. I don't mind making you people wait of the fact that how things have happened. It goes out to some distance and stops. And there's a pause. They must be doing some check. I don't know. If you see, the right one has also now started moving, the right camera. Okay. You can see slowly it's moving out. The video is moving out. I think it's a fantastic job our chaps have done. Okay. And you'll see this slowly separations taking place. Wait, just a minute. Because for some reason, for about half a minute after this thing, it stopped. They must be doing some checks and some procedures must be going on. It's mechanical, and after all, it's all robotics. You're doing it at that thing. And when all this is happening, this whole thing is still going around in space. That's the interesting thing. See, now the separation is very clear. Okay. Right? Yeah. See, that separation has taken place. Beautiful, isn't it? Yeah. इसमें भी देखो. इसमें भी देखो. इसमें भी. Yeah. See this? Could it have been better? I hope all the Chinese are seeing this. All these Chinese buffoons who gave this, plus all those chaps who commented earlier, are seeing this. We need to be proud of this. That is why I showed. And then, of course, S2A again confirmed that successful undocking during a low elevation pass over Australia today, that was on 13th. They've shown that they were a distance of 7 kilometers apart, and they're still going around 13 kilometers apart. Okay, so we have to understand where it is. And this, of course, is Dr. Narayanan. who's the new chairman of ISRO, must hear what he says. After that, he gave up, yeah.
And January 16th, we had a major achievement. We successfully docked both the satellites together, and it was rotating as a single body. And then we wanted to separate it out. That is undocking process. For that, we have carried out a lot of theater studies, analysis, and we have made a simulator, and we have carried out 125 simulations. Because there should not be any mistakes. And yesterday we authorized morning 9:20, first attempt itself, we have succeeded the undocking process, and India becoming one among 4 countries in the world having the docking and undocking technology, which is demonstrated. We have developed a C-32 cryogenic propulsion system. And in fact, you all should know the cryogenic propulsion technology was denied to India by other countries. And then we started with a baby step. And today, to our credit, we have developed 3 cryogenic stages for Mark II one stage, Mark III a C-25 stage, and human-rated vehicle a C-32 stage. Now, this particular C-25 and C-32 stages are operated by, rather propelled by a 20-ton thrust cryogenic engine. This engine, after integrating before assembling for the flight stage, it has to be put through a hot test. And earlier we used to, and it is a high area ratio nozzle, and which can be tested only in the HAT facility. So we have built up a HAT facility. We used to test there, and testing is maximum only 25 seconds we can test, whereas in the flight it has to operate for 700 plus seconds. For human-rated vehicle, we strongly felt the duration of the test should be more, because at least it has to be stabilized everything. Then ISRO has developed a nozzle protection system based system where we pump water at the exit of the nozzle, which will take care of the flow separation and other aspects. We have conceived, developed, and today the first flight engine is successfully tested for 100 seconds. This is yet another technology so many countries are not having, and we are having the technology. Today it is, in fact, 20 years back it was a very hard technology, but today for ISRO it is a child play. But there are so many countries which doesn't have this technology.
See, once upon a time it was difficult, but today it's child's play for us. That's what the ISRO chairman says. And that's the capability of India. Sooner or later we'll get there. We have to have confidence in ourselves. That's about all. We are there. We are there. Don't ever think that China is ahead in the race. In my opinion, I've always said China has passed its peak. They might be at this point technology ahead, but people are not there. Yeah, the marre. Anyway.
And
okay, you gotta look at the major milestones of ISRO. Whether it's Chandrayaan-1, you said the Mars orbiter. When 2013. China sent it much later, 8 years later. You done a moon landing. You're going to look at Gaganyaan. You're going to send your own space mission, manned space mission. You're also looking at a reusable launch vehicle. You need a reusable launch vehicle the moment you need a space station and all that. And then you've done the SpaceX already. I mean, you have to understand the technologies involved in this. You have the technologies. So let's not, think that we are behind anyone. Okay. And then this is the photograph of the Mars taken by that Mangalyaan orbiter 10 years back. अभी क्या बात कर रहे हैं सब बेवकूफों की तरह. And we are also starting a new spaceport in this place, Kulasekhara, where we're going to put small satellite launch vehicles, SSLVs. And this is for commercial. So we're going to commercialize, we're going to have our own commercial spaceport. Very few countries have it. Where people from every walk of life can come and do their trick. And this is it. This is in Tuticorin. I mean, if you didn't notice, this will be here. India is one of the best located places for a space launch, incidentally. The French go to Guyana and do it. French Guyana, Kourou Islands. somewhere around the equator. You're just 5 degrees above the equator. We are natural. China does its launching from Hainan Island. And off Hainan Island, which is about 22, 23 degrees north of the equator, around the north of the tropic, it's very difficult to launch. That's why they have so many launch failures. We don't have half of that. So that's why, we have to have faith in ourselves. We have to have the faith in what we have. And that's why I showed it the first time. I've showed it the second time. Today I'm showing it. I hope it settles Chinese doubts. If it doesn't, I couldn't get a damn. Okay, right. With this, I come to the end of my presentations today. I do hope you like these presentations, and I hope you'll all subscribe to my channel. And I hope those of you who like this, press that thumbs up button. Right? And of course, I'm going to split all these tomorrow and push them out to others. So I'll take a few questions. Yeah, does GOI provide security to ISRO DRDO chiefs? If yes, it should be good. It will be. There's no worry. There's no problem. Okay. Which are the other questions? Yeah, let me. Thank you for the beautiful video. God blesses all those who had a hand in the docking and undocking. Thanks a lot, Lata. Yeah, we should be very proud of us. Yeah, we should be proud of our scientists, tech people, and everyone involved with the project. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, Bharat is well on its way of strategic autonomy. Space docking and undocking is an element of demonstrating this. Question remains: is the world even aware of Bharat GPT? Yeah, they will. They'll all come. They'll all come around. Don't worry. Is Park headed for balkanization day after tomorrow? Wait just till day after tomorrow, Akash. We'll talk. Pakistan again. We will talk about it day after, because day after General Dushyant and I will be talking about all these only. But they'll not go after Gwadar. USA will do it on its own. The other, whatever happens in Balochistan will affect Gwadar. Don't worry. Yeah, I heard a rumor that the Middle East was planning to buy agricultural lands and take over the farms. That's what it's doing. That's the whole story. That corporatization money is from Middle East. They've sold. They'll sell it. The Pakistani army will sell that nation off. Yeah. Is there one honest Pakistani politician? Is there one duffer who cares for the country? No. They're all rogues of the highest order. Yeah, this is not related to today's topic, but with falling fighter squadrons, how will India manage the bases and how will it provide air defense, airspace? Don't worry, Vinesh. First and foremost, you must understand that we are not that badly off that we don't have protection. We have some problems. There are things coming in. I agree with you, our strength has gone down, but it's made up by missile capability. It's being made up by missile capability. Complete airspace deterrence is a function of strategic systems, non-strategic systems, manned and unmanned. So don't worry. Baluch, we will talk later. Yeah, elaborate your views on association with Elon Starlink. Did we get bullied here, or are we careful by making its entry with partnering? Well, you're gonna use it. It'll be a good thing because you'll get faster speeds and all. You'll get better internet enabling. you'll get better coverage. So, any case, because now, see, the fact is that you're not expanded your space program aggressively, that the ISRO can give you capacity for everything. You have to buy this capacity somewhere. Okay, you've not yet got it on your own. So if you have to buy it from somewhere, you might as well buy it with Starlink. That's the point. Communications. And if you buy it from Starlink, you get a handle into the government in any case. So that's the whole thing. I don't see it as a, yeah. Chinese locations of apparent presence in the IO are strategically unmaintainable and tactically a nightmare to defend. They appear to be lambs in a slaughterhouse. Look, China doesn't have locations in the IOR. Where is it? It's only in Djibouti. And that's 4 kilometers from a American base, incidentally. And Gwadar is not a base so far. And Gwadar, you see, we are discussing Balochistan already. How will anyone go and put warships out there? Okay. Oh, when are you planning to invite Pakistan PhD Kamar Chimma to your show? You do 300 plus podcasts annually, and your viewers deserve at least one comedy show once in a while. Jack, the point is, if I do it, a lot of people will curse me also. Why are you getting that fellow? So I don't want to get him. If you people say you want me to get him, I'll get him. There's no problem. But I don't like him, so I don't want to get him. At least I'm not interested in getting any Pakistani on my show. I'm not that desperate. It's been floated that Hafiz of Saeed got attacked and he succumbed to that attack and got killed. We don't know. Let's wait. What's the hurry? It doesn't. It's a matter of few days here and there. Something has happened. We'll see. Okay. Negotiating to get back islands where there is Diego Garcia. I told you about all this, Akshay. So we'll have a good handle on all these things. Okay. So what will happen to Chabahar? Will India continue? Yeah, will continue to run it. Where's the problem? There's no issue. Yeah. Very good informative presentation. Thanks a lot, Satya. Yeah. How will China get water for Gwadar, assuming that they put a desalination plant? Where will they get power to run that? Well, they're all million-dollar questions. Power they'll be able to manage with generators. And fuel they'll get from somewhere and all that. There's no other choice they have. And they have to do desalination. And there's coal around. They might put a power plant somewhere. But all this is subject to the fact that you need to have a stable security situation. That's not there. In fact, sometime back, there was a report which said they want to get water from Tajikistan. Of all places, Tajikistan. Pakistan में ये ऐसे सोच होता है. Tajikistan is far north of Pakistan. If you can get water from Tajikistan, you can get from Indus also, no? And that water will not reach them. People in between in Afghanistan will drink it off. Without water, how will they do any type of farming, let alone? I don't know. This is all hocus pocus. See, these are all Punjabi-based characters. Cholistan Desert is in Punjab. So they're getting from Indus, which is in Punjab, that part of Indus. And they're trying to green. As simple as that. If water comes into Cholistan Desert, it doesn't go to Sindh. They're not bothered about it. This is typical Pakistan army. So your comments on F-35, should we buy it? You remember I did a whole program on this F-35 with Diptendu Chaudhary on TV9, which I put it out here. My own view is you need a 6th generation, 5th generation, 6th generation aircraft. There's no doubt about it. You have two choices. You have F-35 and Su-57. Take a call, one of them, in the process. Today F-35 there are a lot of question marks on it. Try it out. If they can settle your question marks, fine. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. Don't take it. Otherwise, you have an alternate. At this point of time, it's very difficult to say that, look, take this or not take this. It's a process. You have to go through a process. Defense procurement and acquisition is a process. It's not a one-man show. It's a process, and that process has to be allowed to be run logically. An article on China surging ahead with nuclear weapons poised at 1500 with multi-kiloton by 2030 versus India 172. Yeah, time to revise nuclear policy. Your thoughts? Yeah, it's time to revise nuclear policy, not because China is going ahead. I think China is doing a stupid thing by going ahead. They don't need it. They're doing it for other purposes, their own internal political purposes. Because even whether you have 10 warheads, 100 warheads, 200 warheads, or 500 warheads, you're not going to use them. Okay. We need to revise our nuclear policy to counter this rise, because 172 is a said figure. But say, for example, Agni 5, we don't know how many warheads will fit into it. So you might have the number of warheads going in. And they are re-entry capability. So that changes the whole thing. Now you got a hypersonic vehicle which is coming in. So your capability will change. So as your capability changes, it's not a matter of just the warhead, your capability. And if you get a good ISR capability in, your thing changes. If all this change takes place, then your nuclear policy also has to change. So that is why, because you have modernizing your system, your policy has to change. That's the thing. What is the status of China, Ladakh China border issue right now? Nothing on news, because there are no news. Zero. They've gone back. They'll never come back, don't worry. We are now virtually back to pre-2020 LAC. With agreed patrolling, all that. They'll not come. I said this 4 years back that they'll go back. That's it, how it is. So what will happen to Chabahar? Yeah, I told you we'll continue to run it. There's no problem. Chinese circumnavigation of Australia, is it a demonstration of any new capability? No. That is just to scare Australia. To tell Australia we can loaf around there. Australia, all these fellows have no capability really. वो बात करते हैं. Okay. Chinese have gone there. I'm glad they went there. Now suddenly Australia will start looking at India. Do we occupy any land in Doklam of China? Look, Doklam is not in China, incidentally. Doklam is not in China. It's not Doklam, it's Dolam Plateau. So we are where we are. There's nothing we have gone across. We saw in Mohali scientist death over a parking dispute. If we are a socialist nation, why don't government and their employees provide safe oasis to? Oh, well, that's a law and order problem. We don't know. I'm not going to comment on it. In recent news, Yunus talked about free Kashmir and free Mizoram, how good Indian government should respond to this kind of nonsense. I think we need to be patient with Bangladesh. We shouldn't respond unnecessarily. That's why I stopped talking of Bangladesh. Maybe after a week or so we'll talk. I think internally there's going to be a problem within Bangladesh. We need to wait for that. Yunus kya hai, bewkoof aadmi hai. Don't worry about too much. Can China connect IOR from Iran? They promised 250 billion money to Iran, a railroad through Central Asia, Xinjiang. Look, these are all pie in the sky. ये जब होते होते Xi Jinping मर जाएगा, चाइना का आबादी घट जाएगा, चाइना भिखारी हो जाएगा और वो कुछ नहीं आएगा. Forget about the fact that China is going to build any roads. As it is now very clear that the BRI is a failure. And that is why no one spoke about the BRI in the 2 sessions also. Does India have molten power plant? No, we don't have. Not yet. It will happen. It will happen in the next 5-10 years. Why don't you never do a podcast with Tilak Deveshwar? I don't know him, one. And secondly, I'm giving you a different view. He's got his view. He's got his view of Pakistan. I respect him. He's good, all that. But yeah, we have others also who can talk of Pakistan. He's not the only one whom we need to talk to. He's good, I know it. You want to see him, go see others. But if you see him there and see him here, what's the different thing? You need to have different thinking, no? Thanks a lot for Happy Holi. Uh, how is Pakistan still able to manage its relationship with both China and US in spite of clear conflicts on issues like border? It's just muddling along. The second part is right. You just see what happened. They gave up some terrorist to USA, and Trump said some good words about China, China about Pakistan, and Pakistan started jumping around. And next day puts a travel ban on them. So पाकिस्तान यार थर्ड रेट नेशन है क्या बात कर रहे हो thought on latest protests in Nepal is going through problems, let them sort it out. For the past 5-10 years, they have a round robin system of governance. One party goes out, the other comes in, the other party goes out, the other comes in. Every year they've been changing. Now suddenly they want the monarchy back. So I think, let it settle. We shouldn't interfere in what's happening within there. And that's the best thing we can do. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Pawan. I would request everyone to subscribe to the channel and like it and share it with your friends, because I think I do get something unique to all of you. I don't know if there's any other channel giving you this kind of logic. With this Mizoram influx from Bangladesh, how do you see the re-rise of terrorism in Northeast? Terrorism in the Northeast, don't worry, nothing will happen. What is happening in Bhutan? Nothing is happening in Bhutan. That's the best thing. Will you make a video on new underground submarine base and its implication? No, I'll not. Because it's got strategic implications. I don't think many of us should know about it. Even I don't know much about it. I know where it is. I've gone there, but let it be in wraps. So certain things shouldn't be put in public. Fine. I've done with the whole thing. Yeah, we've said, will Myanmar flux? Nothing will happen there. Don't worry. There's army is in control in Manipur. Slowly things, Manipur will cool down. Mizoram also will cool down slowly. Nothing will happen. We'll have problems with Myanmar. We'll have problems with Bangladesh. But internally, things will start cooling down in this year. So I'm very confident of that. Why don't be a Bhutan like that? Will not happen. If Pak balkanizes, how would the scramble for nukes play out? That's the worry actually. No one knows. There can be international guarantees which can be put if Pak starts crumbling. Something like what happened with Ukraine. So when Russia broke up, a lot of people stepped in, and Ukraine was convinced to give up its nukes. So this can be done here also. The question is who will take the nukes. Maybe it will go under some international monitoring agency and things like that. We'll see how it goes. Okay, that's the end of the story today. Thanks a lot. Join in tomorrow evening. Tomorrow is going to be very interesting, because what I've done is I've taken about 5-6 authors and the Chinese authors and compiled what their views are. One is a set of authors who've been interviewed for internal consumption in China. One which the Global Times has propagated. And one in an international thing, he's from Harvard, so he's spoken there in the West. And one, there's an international view about India, China. And largely it is a Chinese perception of India. And that's because of the outreach of Chinese to India, and how we should understand how they are dealing with us. We have to understand how they're dealing with us and deal with them accordingly. So this is completely the Chinese perspective of how they should deal with us and their perceptions. Join me in tomorrow evening. Till then, good evening and Jai Hind.